Hello, friends. We are continuing to work on the issue of climate change. We have a number of things going on here that make it necessary for me to take this program. So I will, but as I say to you, we'll be back with it before long. I'd like to say, let us get into the meditation directly. We know the elements are in a state of imbalance, tremendous imbalance, and it's going to be our task to help esoterically restore the balance. Here is a text from Dinah 2, so let us concentrate as we see the image of the Tibetan here, as it were, hovering over different parts of the world. We have the United States rather prominent, but this goes for everybody. Those disciples who work today in the world do so consciously. We'll be thinking as we meditate and meditate as we think. They do so consciously in order to aid the Christ. His mission comes within the protecting aura with which the head of the hierarchy at all times surrounds certain work undertaken by the hierarchy in connection with our in connection with our planet. The work of preparation for his coming is curiously fraught with danger because of the immense and constant antagonism it arouses and is arousing increasingly in the opposing forces of evil. So let me say that attack is intensifying. The main attack of these forces is upon disciples, and particularly those in a position and at a point in evolution where they can act with potency and greatly help the task of reaching others. This you can do, and along with all disciples are therefore marked, quote, for protection, as it is esoterically called. This does not mean that you will be free from attack, and because you are a disciple, attack on all three bodies simultaneously. But it means that such attack will arouse in you no fear. Going on, with the Tibetan and meditating upon his potent words, remember always, brother of mine, that it is fear that permits the entry of wrong potencies, and that such an attack may not be aimed at your weakest point, but preferably at your strongest. It is there where disciples are often caught unawares and thus suffer a temporary setback. So these are the preliminary words, and we ponder them. Look at the contrast here. Climate changes are occurring in every region and globally. According to the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change report. The IPCC. As the world's latest and most rigorous scientific assessment of the physical basis of climate change, the report defines changes that are unprecedented in thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years. It emphasizes that there is still time to act, but it must happen immediately. Limiting climate change demands strong and sustained reductions in greenhouse gas emissions from human activities such as burning fossil fuels. Scientists are observing changes in the Earth's climate in every region and across the whole climate system, according to the latest Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. The IPCC. And that released even today. Many of the changes observed in the climate are unprecedented. Imagine. They haven't occurred like this in thousands of years, and maybe even hundreds of thousands of years. Some of the changes already set in motion, such as continued sea level rise, are irreversible, over hundreds of thousands of years. The 2021 United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP26, is the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference. One of the things that we really have to do is adapt to protect communities and natural habitats. The climate is already changing. And it will continue to change even as we reduce emissions and change with devastating effect. We see here this statement by our present President of the United States. We know what to do. We've just got to do it. At the COPD, or rather COP, maybe if I add the D, it'll have to do with being able to breathe. Because it's the name of a disease which is worsened by pollution. But at COP26, we need to work together to enable and encourage countries affected by climate change to protect and restore ecosystems, think of how the Great Barrier Reef is being destroyed. We need to build defenses, warning systems, and resilient infrastructure, and agriculture to avoid the loss of homes, livelihoods, and even lives. The title of this slide is Building Resilience in Countries Through Partnerships with Universities. We must work together to deliver. It's going to require unusual, unprecedented cooperation to meet a totally unprecedented climate change, at least in our modern era, and largely man-made. though the initiation through which our planet is passing has something to do with it. So, we can only rise to the challenges of climate crisis by working together. The COVID has split people and also united people. And the union is what must prevail. At COP 26, we must finalize the Paris rule book, the detailed rules that make the Paris Agreement operational. Accelerate action to tackle the climate crisis through collaboration between governments, businesses, and civil society. This UN Climate Change Conference, COP 26, occurs on the 2nd of November, beginning at 9 a.m. in the morning. Yes, so that, and in Glasgow, Scotland, it will mean that, well, there may be small parts of the world where it's occurring on the 1st of November. Now, what is the cause? Well, we don't expect the esoteric causes to be taken into consideration, as important as they are. On our particular planet, a kind of fourth initiation is being taken. But even from the human point of view, it is caused by human activity. Now here are some other dimensions that contribute to the climate change. Many natural factors, such as the Earth's tilt, that is, of its axis, its orbit around the sun, large volcanic eruptions that we would expect are engineered by the Manu and his department, and changing ocean currents. Not to mention, of course, the warming of the sea. Because we know a lot about how these forces work, we also know that none of them explains the sudden recent warming of the globe. That is, none of them alone. Today, the moment of adequate tension in the life of humanity has been reached, and this is more esoteric. The angel of the presence and the dweller on the threshold are at grips with one another. Man invokes the divine approach in two ways. By means of the inchoate, voiceless appeal or invocative cry of the masses. That's one. And happening increasingly. And also by the planned invocation of the spiritually oriented aspirants, the intelligently convinced worker, disciple, and initiate. In fact, by all who form the new group of world servers. with massed intent they stand, these servers, and their ranks are increasing. With an increased focus of the will to good, with a clearer apprehension of future possibility, with a fixed determination that the world move forward in conformity with the divine pattern, and so it is that with an urgent cry for help, humanity stands expectant of relief. But at the moment we just find the intensification of the opposition, which places tremendous pressure upon all of those of us who are truly disciples. But we can think of the Christ, think of the name of the Christ, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there am I. The Christ really is the spirit of loving relationship. And so we say, knowing that He will respond when we gather in the way we say we will. We have gathered in your name. Lord Maitreya, be with us and be within us. Draw the energy from the solar plexus to the heart, uniting the third and fourth chakras from below, and that solar plexus energy will undergo a great change from desire to aspiration to love and love wisdom. Draw the energy now from the heart to your head center. Center your forces in the head center and hold your consciousness steadily in the light. Now, we either chant or listen to the sound of the Om, the great sacred word, and we can extend our meditation on the 7 major chakras. We imaginatively connect ourselves using the Antakarana, connecting with the spiritual triad. And in your own words, you offer yourself to the soul for cooperation. The true ego or soul is the spiritual triad. And chanting the Om internally or externally, focusing on the 7 major chakras, which are forming the new network of descending energies into countries. And of course, this includes the nadis, those fine etheric energy filaments. We align with the emergency work done by the three Buddhas of activity. And we want to charge our whole energy system with spiritual light and enter into the true quiet of union. And this is done by the soul, your true self, gathering you, its personality, into itself. And we remember this important mantra for all our work. He for whom the whole world waits has said that whatsoever shall be asked in his name, and with faith in the response, will see it accomplished. We keep a focus, a period of complete focused silence to fulfill our task of today, as we seek to present, note these words, an unobstructed channel for the inflow of light, love, and help and solution from hierarchy. And we will hold 5 minutes of complete silence, if we can, with an unmoved consciousness. our duty, our attempt to help restore healing and balance to our environment. At the time DK wrote The Problems of Humanity, this was not so serious a noticeable issue, but it was on its way. So we envision the healing of the elements, the healing of the climate, the end of the dangerous disruption which is causing so many to starve and to be displaced in their millions. Probably most of us are from the wealthier Western countries, not all, but many, and we don't know what it's like to go hungry, to be on the brink of starvation, to lose our homes, our places of residence, to elements which are out of control, flooding, burning, blowing, and then the earthquakes. But of course, in our next life, incarnation, we could be born into exactly that kind of circumstance. We visualize that incredibly good results will come out of COP26. We visualize the world leaders daring to make decisions for the benefit of Earth and not just for their own selfish agendas. And that would be a change. I suppose, and we can imagine it, when the roaring fire is just over the hill from where you live, and it's coming for you, when the floodwaters are pouring into what you used to call your home, when your place your city, your village, your home are being blown to bits by hurricane-force winds and the tornadoes they spawn, that is. And when all is reduced to rubble because of the violent shaking of the earth, well, then people may wake up, and hopefully it won't be too late. When we sound the great invocation, we have to realize that this world prayer is the encapsulation of the divine plan and calls for the right expression in every department of human living. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, and the purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Friends, the sacredness of earth is coming. Many transitions will have to be undergone. And and drastic circumstances. Both DK and Edgar Casey seem to hint at the California islands. What could that mean? What kind of earth disturbances will be necessary in this reshaping of our planet? Partially through initiatory impulse, and partially through human stupidity and ignoring responsibility. Of course, there will be now closer cooperation between the Deva kingdom and the human. The Devas are being trained for this, and some human beings are being trained, and it will mean greater control of the elemental forces which by themselves are not intelligent, but really always run the risk of exceeding their proper boundaries. This is an age of law that is coming up. Saturn will be strong. And we will have to obey if we don't want to have a very unhappy retrogression, a backward sliding into states which should long ago have been overcome. So indeed, we do welcome you to continue this work with us and to realize how much human thought contributes to the balance of the elements or the imbalance. Remember what DK said about the insect plagues in relation to human thought? It gives one pause. We are more responsible than we know, and to enter the Aquarian age in the right way, under Saturn, we have to accept our responsibility. We invite you to participate in our various broadcasts and Zoomcasts, if I can call them that. And I think, excuse me, To do so will invest us with greater esoteric depth in the process of correcting the dire condition presently of the earth. So the work of triangles, of the Blue Rose Sisterhood, developing, holding forth the chalice of Christ consciousness. Both brothers and sisters can join this. The work of the Moria Federation, helping to educate us more deeply in the curricula, especially the preparatory curricula of the coming schools of occultism, which are like spiritual universities, and in general the University of the Seven Rays and the Seven Ray Institute and its conferences. A lot is offered to you. It's just a question of selecting and choosing wisely what your interests are and how you can handle it. All of us, we form a front of light by invoking the soul of the nations, the soul of humanity, the soul of planet Earth, and what a difference it will make. This dire struggle in which we are now engaged will be seen to have been worth it. So in any way you can, please help. Please help. We can't let the fires, the waters, the winds, and the earth go out of control. No. We can't let that happen. Tuya tells us here in the chat that we'll be invoking the angels. It looks like 7 a.m. I hope that's GMT. Check your master schedule. And the sacred pentagram approach, which we are not able to bring you this evening, will at least be commenced tomorrow. And a pre-full moon meditation is coming up at 6:30 p.m. GMT. So thank you, friends. Think of our beautiful planet. Deserts, says Master Moria, mark out where offenses have occurred. Offenses against nature, against the plan, they have occurred. We need to restore our planet to the point where it can sustain and threaten, not threaten, sustain and not threaten the millions, the billions of human beings who derive their sustenance from this beautiful planet. And if we succeed in bringing more balance into our life and the life of humanity, then so it will be with the planet. So we'll be seeing you tomorrow. I apologize for the condition of my voice at the moment. It's a little bit, has been for, sorry, for a little time now, but I'll try to overcome that and get back to normal here. Meanwhile, think about what your thoughts can contribute to the harmonization and right expression of the elemental forces of the planet, and to the invocation of the controlling Deva forces which are needed to help direct. Love and many blessings from Tuya and myself and the whole communications team. And as I said, no sacred pentagram tonight, but we'll be offering that tomorrow. Bye for now.